Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about this man needing to have his own place. I asked those ladies, I said, why? Why do that man need his own place? What's the benefit? It got real quiet again. They all just kind of, because he don't need to be staying with his mom. I said, well, why? And at the same time, at what age? 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 2, 3, what? What else? What? Him staying in his own place is going to do what? I'm not talking about what I mentioned earlier. I'm talking about, I asked them, why is it so important for the ladies to want that man to have his own place? When you guys are going to be, especially if you just now starting to date or even, talk, court, whatever you want to call it. Why is it so important for him to have his own house? To do what? For what? And I'm serious. No one could give me a clear answer. Some of them just, well, it just shows that he's stable. He can take care of himself. Well, he can also do that while he's still living with his mom. He can be stable and taking care of himself. But once again, why is it so important for him to have his own place? Do you have your own place? If you do, that's great. But at the same time, I asked them, if you don't live with your parent as a grown woman, whatever like that, why? Can you imagine if a man approached you and say, do you live with your mom? And you said no. The first thing a lot of women start thinking, well, he want to know if I have my own place because he want to come over there and he want to get some. In other words, I'm saying he wants to have sex. So I asked them, well, what is it that's so important for you to want that man to have a house for? What? What can you do in his house if he had his own house that you couldn't do if he was in his mom's house? Is it a privacy thing? What is it that y'all need to be talking about that his mom don't need to hear? And if it is something like that, you can easily go to a dining room. You can go to a living room, wherever. You can go out on the front porch and talk. You can go in her backyard and talk. You can always find somewhere private to talk. And if you don't want to talk within his mom's house, then you can be talking like at a restaurant, at a park. One of the I tell them one of the first things that me and my wife did when we first started dating, we talked. I wasn't no typical cliche dating person. I wasn't no, oh, I want to go to dinner and go to movies. Those things did come later, but the first thing me and my wife did, we talked. We went to a park. We got like, I don't know if we got like some ice cream or something like that, but our first thing we were doing, we were just walking and talking. She was picking my brain and where my mind was, what my goals was. I was picking her brain, what her mind was, and what her goals were. But the whole point in doing all that is that we were doing it to get to know each other. We didn't need to have no private place to be doing any of that. And at the same time, my wife, during that time, she was living with her grandmother when her and I met, and I was still with my mom. Now, my wife wasn't on this kick of, oh my gosh, you still stay with your mama, what's wrong with you? And nor was I on anything like, well, you stay with your grandmother, what's wrong with you? Because once again, we were trying to get to know each other. And if we were going to be pretty much coming close to getting to know each other, that's why we were asking these questions about where our goals was. What did we plan on doing? What do we see each other doing futuristically? And when it all came about, that pretty much settled the score that we knew that neither one of us was going to be in our parents' or grandparents' house. We knew that we had choices and that we were going to be making in the future that was going to have to put us together. This was before we were married or anything. So again, I asked those ladies, what's the point of this man having his house? And again, I couldn't get one answer. This was amongst at least 12 different women, and they all just kind of, yeah. Well, then one of them just flat out just told the truth. I don't know why we all say that or something like that. Yeah, you're right. I was just saying it because that's what people just should say. I said, so once again, you missed out on a potential great relationship with the man, all because you found out he stayed with his mom and you shut that off. And then you might look even 5 years down the road and find out that that man actually ended up getting with a good woman and he's taking care of her, and you look at him like, God dang, well, he no longer in his mom's house. He's with that woman and they got their own house and he's taking care of her. She's taking care of him.